Good morning, everyone. September 11th, 2018. I'm Eric. You might recall last week I did a video about a flight from Dubai that was quarantined because about 100 passengers reported being sick, and some of them were confirmed to be sick. Well, it turns out that it wasn't the only flight that was grounded for or quarantined for the same thing. There were a handful of flights quarantined last week, and that is a little bit concerning. Here at All News Pipeline, the article, and God, I hate how they make paragraphs their title, but has the black wind of death been unleashed? Here's what they're not telling us about monkeypox. The shed virus can maintain effectivity for months at room temperature and indefinitely in cold weather. And there is another. Where's it at? No. Planes full of sick people. This is from Daisy Luther. Okay, you know about the plane from Dubai to JFK. And it's the first that came to my attention as well as hers. But approximately 100 passengers and members of the crew became ill. The CDC met the flight at the airport and determined that out of the plane full of 521 people, about 100 of them self-reported fevers of over 100 degrees and coughing. 19 of those people were found to be ill, and 10 or 11 of them were ill enough to be hospitalized by the CDC, and the other 500 plus people on the plane were sent on their way. Well, there's something troubling about them being sent on their way. Not that they should have been arrested, but don't you think maybe you should have kept an eye on them for at least a couple of days? Let's get down here to the... Okay. There's a plane from Algeria to southern France on the same day as the UAE flight. It was briefly quarantined, 147 passengers on the flight, and they were maybe suffering from cholera. So, here's an excerpt from the article. It is likely that the child is carrying cholera and they will be evacuated to the hospital for examination, said firefighters. The plane had traveled from Oran in Algeria, where a recent cholera epidemic has left 3 dead and over 70 contaminated. The other passengers, 147 in total, and members of the flight crew, were let off the plane shortly after 3 p.m. after being held on board for just over an hour. 2 planes from Europe to Philadelphia. The following day, passengers from 2 different flights originating in Paris and Munich and landing in Philadelphia became ill enough for the CDC to be contacted. According to a Customs and Border Control spokesman, 12 passengers who had attended Hajj in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, had complained of sore throats, coughs, and were not considered to be extremely ill. All 250 people on the 2 flights were assessed, and everybody who wasn't sick yet was released to go travel wherever it was they were going. The plane from Nigeria to London. This is probably the strangest one yet. The flight happened before all the other flights, but the information just came out on the news on the 8th. A Nigerian naval officer has been diagnosed with monkeypox, but not until after everyone was already gone from the flight to their corners of the earth. Okay, so what is monkeypox? Well, that's what the original article I showed you was about. Where'd it go? No, not that one. There it is. Monkeypox. According to a new article at the Daily Mail, Sunday morning, for the first time ever, the deadly monkeypox virus has been found in the UK after a person from Nigeria who had flown into the country a week ago was diagnosed with the disease. Monkeypox kills at least 1 in 10 people who are infected with it, generally residing within wild animals, but transferable to human beings through close contact or eating their infected meat. That sounds yummy, doesn't it? Monkeypox can then be passed from human being to human being via droplets of air or touching of the skin, or even by touching other objects that the infected person had touched. So it's pretty robust. It can easily be transmitted. The infected man was a member of the Nigerian Navy and had come into the UK last Sunday from Africa to take part in a Ministry of Defence training exercise at the Royal Navy base. He had been on the Royal Navy base for nearly a week before being diagnosed with monkeypox. So potentially, every fucking person on that flight was exposed. And the thing about monkeypox is, as they say here, as we learn further below, shed monkeypox virus can live for months at room temperature and perhaps indefinitely in cold temperatures. And it's been pretty cold in a lot of these places. And it's not unreasonable to think that our own government and other governments would collude to rid the planet of large portions of the population. After all, they colluded to commit the crimes that took place 17 years ago today. While the arrival of this man on a Royal Navy base with monkeypox, the first such case ever in the UK, and at that, could very well be just a very sad story, as we've reported twice over less than a week. The mass arrival of sick individuals into America from overseas flights reeks of bioterrorism. And of course, I warned about such an event a couple of weeks ago, and here we are. It could be exactly that. Back on October of 2013, Forbes put out a story titled "Black Wind to America." a deadly terrorist bioweapon program agenda. And here's an excerpt from that. In quotes, "We announce the good news for the Muslims in the world that the strike black wind of death against America is now in its final stage, 90% ready, and is coming soon by God's will." While the Yahoo article reporting upon monkeypox in the UK claims that a huge hunt has begun for potentially 50 members of the public who may have sat close to him on the airplane, or others who may have been in contact with him, this 2002 article from UPI's medical correspondent Steve Mitchell had warned that monkeypox could be used as a bioweapon from that article. The Russians worked with monkeypox virus, a close cousin to smallpox, in their bioweapons program, and it is possible terrorists could use it in a biological attack against the United States. Scientist and former United Nations weapons inspector told United Press International. The leftists really need something incredible to happen, and this could very well be it. Keep your eyes open. A pandemic is one of the things I fear most because, well, you can't use a gun or a crossbow or a machete on microorganisms. The only thing you can do to avoid getting it is not going out in the public, and even that isn't foolproof. So, be prepared, people. Like I told you last week, gas masks, water filters, black mica, weapons, all that shit. Be fluid. Don't prepare to hunker down in one place for very long, because eventually you're going to have to move, and eventually you're going to have to carry some shit. You don't want to be trying to carry all your preps on your back if you've prepared to bug in. Hope everyone has a good day. Kill the state before the state kills you.